Better You. I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson. I want to ask you all something. Did you know that today more and more people are unemployed, receiving unemployment benefits? These are people that are highly educated, people that have had very good paying jobs. Today, my guest with me is Wanda Nolan, and she was one of those people. Wanda, thank you for joining me today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I understand you had a very good article in Huffington Post a couple of months ago.
Yes, it was written about being unemployed in the African American community in North Carolina, and they sought me out to do an article on me.
So tell me about yourself. Whenever you were growing up, did both your parents work in the home?
Yes, both of my parents worked. My dad is retired military now. At the time, he was retired doing the reserves, and my mother worked in the daycare facilities.
What kind of work did your father do?
He was a postal worker for about 25 years.
So you grew up in a middle-class home?
Yes.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, one sister and one brother.
And so, Wanda, whenever you were at home and you saw your parents going to work, did you ever think that you would be unemployed, or did you think you would be a housewife?
No, because growing up, we always were taught that if you want something, you work hard and you get it. And watching my sister and brother, as I grew up, they always worked. They're a little bit older than I am, and they always worked, went to school, so I just knew that that was a generic pattern that our family followed, and I wanted to follow in my family's footsteps.
So your family instilled in you education and hard work?
Yes.
So do you have a college degree, may I ask?
Yes, I have 2 undergrad degrees, one in business management, one in marketing, and a master's of business administration.
Wow, a master's, and you're not able to find a job now?
No, the market has been a little slim. I'm hoping that a few options will open up. I've sent out my resume, and I continuously look to see what's out there and what's available, and trying to find new ways of reinventing myself.
So how long have you been out of work?
Since April of 2010.
2010?
Yes.
Well, hopefully by the time this air shows, you will have a job by then.
I hope so.
I think you will. So tell me, Wanda, when you went to college, did you think that you would ever be without a job?
No, actually, when I went to college, I was at a job for 9 years, working in the banking industry, and just looked at going to school as an opportunity to further myself, because I'd already been with the company for a while and moved up the ladder and felt very comfortable in the position, and decided to go back to school so that I could earn more money and have a better potential if I wanted to leave the banking industry, have something under my belt so that I could walk out confidently and find another job.
So when you stopped working, did they lay off a lot of people, or were you terminated? What happened with that?
The bank went through a right-sizing phase where they tried to adjust the number of employees against the number of people coming in and how they could earn money. So my position was one of those that was right-sized, where the department basically just downsized and they started to let go of employees.
So what area were you working in banking?
I was in a commercial banking department. They let my manager go. Well, my manager actually transferred to another state for another position, and since I was his direct assistant, then my position basically faded out. And I had actually seen that before with the exact same instance where there was a banking manager, supervisor, he was let go or downsized, and then his assistant was phased out. So it was kind of a deja vu.
So you saw it coming,
Yes.
pretty much.
Unfortunately, yes.
So how did you feel whenever they told you, Miss Nolan, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to let you go? How did you feel? What was your first thought?
It's like, oh my gosh, I have children, I have a mortgage, I have a car payment, I need to have a job to take care of those items. So it was very devastating for the moment, and I cried. I tried to keep it together and tried to be, very composed, but I was like, excuse me. And I had to go to the restroom and cried for just a little while.
And so the next day, what happened when you woke up the next day when you said, well, I don't have to get up at, 5 in the morning to get ready for work? What was that like?
It was different. I had to get the children up, get them ready for school. I have 2 girls, so I still had to make things look like they were normal. And I'm not sure if I told them right away. I think I kept the facade going and pretended like I was going to work, or got up and got dressed with them every morning and, got them off to school, and then I would come home. So they didn't really know for a while that I was unemployed. And then I would just start looking for jobs, looking for opportunities, updated my resume. And I think maybe the first day I just kind of stayed home in a state of sort of shock. Like,
I would guess so, yeah.
Just sort of trying to regroup, trying to let it sink in what had really happened. It's like, okay, I don't have a job to go to. I've been working since I was 15 and a half years old. Not having a job was a new concept for me.
And so what was it like going to apply for unemployment?
It was a little difficult, but I realized that, you know, I had to. There was no other option. It's either you bring in income or you lose your home or you lose your car, and those were not options for me because I feel that I need to provide a home for my children. I must have transportation so that I can transport my children where they need to go, whether it's to school, doctor's appointments. At the time, they were involved in dance and things at church. So those were two major things I wanted to make sure I was able to provide and continue to provide. I didn't want to have to go back home. I know my parents were there and would help me out if needed, but I've always been a person, I don't want to have to go back home unless I absolutely have to. Last straw, you know. I'm an independent woman, and I'm used to being independent. I don't mind getting assistance when needed, but I prefer to be independent. I'm trying to teach my daughters to be independent as well.
So, you know, I'm sorry, but I've never been unemployed, so I have no idea what this is like. So do you go to the unemployment office to apply for unemployment?
I looked online first to find out, you know, where a location was in Charlotte and called the number, which you're on hold for about 30 minutes before you can actually get a real person on the line. And they told me to go to the Charlotte location, which is on Executive Drive. I went there, and they told me I needed to apply online. So basically, I wasted a trip and gas and waited in line, but luckily the line was shorter. And they told me to go and to apply online. So then I went back online, and you have to answer all these questions. And once I finished that, then I had to wait to get approved. And once I got approved, I got a letter in the mail, and then they give you the instructions on what you need to do, but it's still kind of like a limbo because you don't know for sure if you're going to qualify. And you know, because even though the employer terminates you or downsizes or right sizes, they still could say, well, no, we're not going to let them be eligible for unemployment.
Oh, really?
It's up to the employer.
And so all this time you're just sitting around and waiting? Waiting
and looking online, seeing what's out there, calling people that I know that may know of opportunities. Like I said, updating my resume, make sure that it looks good, and also seeking people that work in those fields that deal with reviewing the resumes to see if there's something I need to add, because I really hadn't updated my resume in a while for the new field, that the vigorous job seekers that's out there now. It's almost like you have to have everything stepped up a notch, but then with having a higher degree, you sometimes have to step it back. So I found that you almost have to have multiple resumes and cover letters depending on where you're applying. And at first I wanted to go with the one I had before with the master's degree, showing my skills, showing, you know, the amount of experience that I had to offer, and I didn't get as many calls. And then when I backed my resume down a little bit and kind of tried to downplay some things, like my degrees or the experience, then I got a few calls, but then the amounts of money that might be available, it just wasn't going to be able to help me meet the needs that I needed to meet for my family.
So you've been out of work since 2010. I know it's hard. What other assistance have you gotten besides unemployment?
You know, you have to kind of put your pride to the side and go and seek the assistance of the Mecklenburg County Services, like Department of Social Services. So I was able to go and apply for some food stamps. I was able to receive food stamps for a while. I was able to get Medicaid for myself for a year, but I haven't had insurance since then. And I also was able to get, well, actually when I left the bank, that was in 2008. So I had to apply then, and then I was able to find work, but then those companies with the recession downsized, so I was actually downsized twice since the bank. So I applied for the assistance and received health care for a year, and that was from 2008 to 2009. But then when I was laid off again in 2010 from the company actually downsized in 2010. I was not able to qualify for Medicaid because I was getting unemployment benefits. So it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah. Yeah. And so with the food stamps, and I've never had food stamps, don't they have a card now?
They have a card that you use, and you know, at first it was a little, not embarrassing, but you kind of don't want to pull out the food stamp card in the line and people look at you, or some of the cashiers will be like, oh, you got EBT. It's like, excuse me, can you, you know, do not announce it to the world that I'm receiving assistance, please. But, you know, you just have to do what you have to do, because my children need food, they have to eat, so, you know, it was there, it was available. I had to go through the process of qualifying and doing the applications, waiting in the very long lines at the DSS. But in the end, it was worth it because I was able to get food stamps. I received a larger amount at first because I wasn't getting unemployment just yet.
Huh.
But then once my unemployment started, then the amount dropped. So I went from like $500 in food stamps down to $160 in food stamps. And now I'm no longer eligible to get food stamps.
$160 and you have 2 girls?
Yes, $160 a month.
And that's not a lot.
No, it goes quick. When you go to the grocery store, pretty much one trip, you've already expended that.
And so what are some other things that you've gotten assistance for?
I've actually was able to find out about a program while I was at home one morning looking online for a job. On the TV, they had a special guest, I think it was Fox News Rising, and he was talking about the North Carolina Foreclosure Prevention Fund. And I was able to go on and get more information and went to learn more about it. And after a little bit of waiting, and of course I had to fill out an application. Everything involves application and waiting. Application and waiting. You give them your life history, all the information you can think of, copies of documents. But I was approved, and because I'm not in school, I was only eligible for 12 months, but I will be able to receive my mortgage being paid for 12 months. So that is a great blessing.
That is good.
Yes, that's one thing
you don't have to worry about.
Yes, that is awesome. And for people that are in school, they can qualify for up to 36 months. And one good thing about me, I was not in foreclosure. I hadn't missed any payments because, like I said, paying my mortgage and my car payment were like top priorities for me. So I would shift money over from other things to make sure those were paid. So I was not in foreclosure, but I was always, you know, each month making sure I scraped together enough money. So because my income level was not there and I didn't have the savings that would be necessary, I was able to qualify for the program. Another program I was able to qualify for because I had food stamps was something where I could get my lights paid for. They have a formula. I'm not sure what the formula was, but it pretty much equivalent was like 3 months worth of my lights being paid. So it's like $270. So about 3 months.
Oh, that is good.
Yes, and that they sent one check, but you know, still was very helpful. I was also able to, trying to think of the other one. There was another one. I'm sorry. Come back to that question. It was one more item that I was able to qualify for. Oh, Gaston Community Action. They have a program where they'll come in and do weatherization on your home if you qualify. And I applied for that, and it took a long time to wait because their funding is temperamental. It's like it will be there, and then you have to wait. You have a long period where they have to wait, let the funds build back up. So I had to wait a while on it. But once I was approved, they came out and weatherized my home, which involved putting insulation in my attic and underneath in the crawl space, and also putting down the waterproofing barrier, moisture barrier underneath the home to keep it sealed and airtight. And then they also approved for me to get a brand new HVAC system because the one I had was old and it had holes in it, so air was leaking out, so it was wasting a lot of energy and also making my energy bill higher. So they were able to come out and take care of that, and they installed an air vent in my bathroom to keep the moisture pulled up and out of the house.
Wow, you've been busy.
I try to stay busy because I don't want to sit idle and let my skills go down or not find opportunities. I've been very blessed to find these opportunities, and a lot of people may not know that they're out there and available, but you just have to find out about them and apply and just be patient and wait.
You know, Wanda, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you, how do you think your being unemployed has impacted your children? Okay?
All right.
All right.
So you can't save money? That's easy as pie. Drink from the tap. A $3 bottle of water a day times 10 years times 6% interest is over 14,000 clams. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to A Better You with Cynthia Thompson. I'm here with Wanda Nolan, and we've been talking about what it's like to be unemployed, educated, and you want to work. There are a lot of agencies out there that will help you if you are unemployed. So Wanda, before we took our break, I asked you, how do you think your being unemployed impacted your children?
My children are used to seeing me being active. I think they're very proud of me because I do a lot of work with our church, and they know that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And just what they don't know is a lot of times at night, I'll sit up and be on the computer looking for jobs and stressed out and might cry a little bit, but I don't let them see it. So I hope that they haven't seen, you know, the true side of some of the little, like minor depression that I probably went through, which might be normal.
Right.
Because at first I was very excited, gung-ho. It's like, okay, I have a degree. I have several degrees. I'm qualified. I've worked in several different fields. I can get a job. And after that, euphoria sort of wore off, and it was like, okay, I don't have a job. And I'm sure that, but one good side of not working right now is that I am able to take my daughter to school, because with the busing system, with Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system, they took away busing from my daughter's high school. So there's been an advantage of not working, because I am able to take her to school and pick her up, and you know, and that's been very helpful. And also with my younger daughter, I'm able to go and visit her for school and help out at her school. So there has been some upside to not working that my children have benefited from, and I'm sure they're excited about. And I don't have to work the extremely long hours that I used to work, or have to bring work home, so I'm able to spend more time with them. So I'm sure that they've probably appreciated it. But of course, they don't like hearing the word no when we go to the store, because you know, I can't buy them all the things that I used to buy them, or we can't just take trips, or you know, even just going to Dairy Queen, to the ice cream store. We can't go as much or eat out as much as we may have before. So I know that they know what's going on, and I'm sure after a year they've realized, okay, Mom's not working now, and they'll ask every once in a while, when you gonna go back to work, or you know, they're kind of trying to ask me quietly, when are you going back to work? But I feel that they see me still determined and still trying. So I hope that this is not going to affect them in a negative way, you know, so.
I remember you saying just a few minutes ago that you did some volunteer work at your kids' school. What are some other things you're doing outside of that to network?
I've also been attending different networking, like Live at 5 or online Facebook. I'll let people know that I'm looking for work, or you know, if someone has a LinkedIn account, they may let me know of projects that are coming up. I also network with people at church that have connections. I get emails from people that'll send me like lists of openings or positions that fit what I do, because I'm the director of marketing at my church. So a lot of people know that that's something I enjoy doing, and I'm really good at it. So if they hear about opportunities in that field, they'll send me information. I know one of them was with the YWCA on Park Road. I had a chance to send my resume in, got a call back. I was very excited. I was like, yes, this will be a job that I can do that I love without feeling like I'm working. And did the telephone interview, but I wasn't selected for the position, but I felt very good about the telephone interview, and felt I was qualified for the position. Just didn't get that one. And if there's been a couple other in the marketing or public relations field where I've received some good feedback, or at least got a call back. So that's reassuring that people are still calling back, because at first, or at one point, I would just send resumes out for just anything. It's like no matter what it was, I would just send out a resume, which is something you probably don't want to do, because then you're watering down the market with your information, and you really want to focus on what is it you really want to do. Try to meet those people and make connections, because if you just send out a resume to wash cars and you don't like washing cars, and you get stuck in that job,
and their time too.
And also, if you do that, you'll lose your benefits for unemployment.
Oh, really?
If you start working, once you start working, you lose your unemployment benefits. So if you take a job making $8 an hour, that's what you get. And you may lose all of your benefits. So you have to be very careful. You know, they give you an allotment per week of what you can earn. So it could be that you may want to start at that location on a part-time basis, or maybe a couple hours a week, just to see if it's a good fit, so you don't lose your benefits, you know, and jump in and not be what you're really, really looking for.
Have you taken any additional training in any other fields besides your master's?
Yes, I've taken a QuickBooks class, because that's something that I didn't know before. So I've taken 3 QuickBooks classes at CPCC, which was very interesting. It's, you know, I was in the banking world, but I didn't really go into the accounting side of it. So I'm just trying to expand my skills. And I also took a class at the Urban League of Central Carolinas. They have a program for people who are between ages 18 and 24, usually, where you can get your GED, also get training in HVAC, fiber optics and cabling, and also in secretarial skills. I took the training in the BPI class, which is called Building Performance Institute, and that's to help people learn weatherization and to be green, because everyone's going towards the green industry.
That's true.
I felt that that would be a good fit, because I enjoy thinking about green, and I wanted to go to the next level. The class was very good. It was about a 2-month training period, and I am now certified as BPI. I can go in and do weatherization of a home.
Huh.
I don't want to crawl in crawl spaces and attics, but if I have to, I will. And also one of the things that the training emphasized was that you may not want to grow into the crawl spaces, but you could be entrepreneurial and start your own team.
That's true.
And get people to work under you. So that was a great opportunity. And the person that we worked with, Sheercom, was the company that helped to sponsor that through the Urban League. And one of the things that the lady told us was that if we needed assistance starting our own company and putting that together, that she would also assist us with that. So I've spoken to her a couple times because I would like to be an entrepreneur. So those are good opportunities. And the Urban League is always providing those classes and that training, and it's a great opportunity for people who are unemployed to check them out.
Are those classes and those trainings free?
They were free. The ones that I took, they were free. They use sponsorships, and they also get grants from different companies. I believe our class was sponsored by the Levine Institute. So yes, and with the GED program, it's free, and they just want to make sure they give back to the community. And a lot of people don't know about the Urban League, but it's a great program, and they do a lot of stuff to get people back employed into the community.
One last question for you, Wanda. What would you tell someone that's unemployed or someone that just found out today that they lost their job? What would you tell them?
Don't give up. Stay encouraged. Continue to look for opportunities. I even volunteer for people who are doing startups of their own companies just to keep my skills fresh, because you don't want to get stagnant and lose the skills that you did have. So always try to learn something new, read books, go to events where you can meet with people and network, because many times I believe that new employees find jobs with companies when they're networking with someone else.
That's so true.
And that's something that many people don't really do enough of.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Wanda. And I'm sure my viewers are going to learn a lot from everything that you shared with us. And it was a lot of information. So, Wanda, tell me, what's been keeping you going?
My children. I have two girls, like I said, one's in the 9th grade and one is in the 3rd grade, and just want to be motivated for them. Because if I get unmotivated and get depressed or sad and give up, then that would be a bad example for my girls. And I want them to know that no matter what, if you keep pushing, you'll make it.
So if someone wanted to reach you on Facebook, what's your Facebook page name?
Wanda Thompson Nolan at Facebook.
Well, thank you again for joining me today, and I wish you the best, and I'm sure that in time you're going to find that right job because you're motivated, you haven't given up, and you're just keep going. And I'm sure your family is there to help you with any and everything that you need help with.
They have been a wonderful supportive network, yes. Could not do it without them.
And thank you all for joining me today here at A Better You with Cynthia Thompson. And my guest today, if you want more information about unemployment benefits, you can go to my website at www.abetteryouShow.com.
So you can't save money? That's easy as pie. Drink from the tap. A $3 bottle of water a day times 10 years times 6% interest is over 14,000 clams. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feedthepig.org.